Now, the artist Ed Worley has recently turned down a six-figure sum from a gallery to show his work. He says art should be for everyone, not just the privileged. Life has at times been tough for Ed. He spent 8 years living on the streets, struggling with drug addiction and poor mental health. Pleased to say he's here with me now to talk a little bit about his artwork. But tell us how you got there, first of all. A really tough 8 years living on the streets then.
Yeah, so it's not as kind of clear-cut as just being out every day. It was back and forth to home and the difficulties that come with drug addiction and alcohol abuse, but it's a brutal existence. It's lonely, but I don't look at it in a negative view anymore. I look at all of that experience in a very positive way because I use that in how I create every day and how I live my life and just the lessons I learned from it.
And were you creative in that time as well?
I tried to be, yes, but suffering from psychosis on a daily basis, is incredibly difficult to concentrate on anything. I tried, but I failed in a big way with that.
But how helpful has it been in your recovery and moving on?
Incredibly helpful. Yeah, my creativity, the process of it has saved my life, and I can't put it any more blunt than that. It's so important to me, and I use it on a daily basis. The process of being creative allows me to live within a specific moment instead of my mental health getting in the way and living in the past or living in the future, because there's no space for anything else apart from purely focus on what I'm doing at that time.
And I think we've got some images of your artwork. So, but put it in your own words, how would you describe your art?
Chaotic urban pop art, basically. It's my mind poured onto a painting, onto a canvas. It's living with addiction is, repeating the same process over and over again and expecting a different outcome, and that's insanity. So with my artwork, I repeat the same image or the same process over and over again, but I create a completely different outcome, and therefore breaking that cycle of insanity that I lived in for such a long time.
And you, as we said, got an offer from a gallery, a big offer from a gallery,
yeah.
But you turned it down. And some people might say, this is a guy that's lived on and off the streets for 8 years. Why would you turn down an opportunity like that?
Well, I met the team at the QUANTUS gallery, and it was an instant connection. And, living with addiction and where that took me, that's all about complete isolation. So the opposite of that is human connection. And with what the path I was gonna take, I feel like I would have just been a number within that process. And as I said, the process of creation and creating every day, that kind of outweighs the outcome. So whereas it's not just about numbers with me, it's about the whole thing in general. And they really understood that at QUANTUS gallery. And they allow me to be completely creative with what I want to kind of pursue with my work. And yeah, so.
And yet galleries allow people to go and view your work. That's kind of sharing with people. So was that not the issue?
No, it was more about the level of output and what it was going to, and how's the way to say it? Just the final product. That's what it was going to be. And yeah, there was large sums of money involved in it, but it's not all about that for me. It's about keeping my mental health intact, being able to look after my family, which is my most important goal, and being a good father.
And is your work changing, do you find, as you kind of more time elapses between that really tough time that you had and recovery and moving on? Are you noticing that your work's changing?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, it's an ever-evolving process, and it's very organic, which is great. I love that. I just go with how I'm feeling at the time and just constantly try and make subtle changes but push it forward, whether that be with the imagery or the way I'm painting it, and then just adding smaller different parts into it every day.
And where can people see your work now?
I have an exhibition on at the moment with the QUANTUS gallery, which is on Fashion Street, called Sanity Through Repetition, which runs until the 5th. There's a whole body of work up there ranging from sculptures to large paintings, and yeah, that's up there at the moment.
And how are you feeling these days? How do you feel like you've put that darker time behind you? Are you?
Absolutely, yeah. I have 2 fantastic kids, my partner Rue, you know, she supported me greatly through this whole process, and I just live on a day-to-day basis. I implement all of the things I've learned from my past and the creativity I now use, and I just try and move forward day by day, and that's what I think life's about.
Yeah, very positive message to end on,
Thank
Ed
you.
Worley. Thanks very much indeed. Really interesting to talk to you. Thank
Thank you.
Time now for a quick look